Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Zach.
Hey, everybody, this is Sawyer. Welcome to the Come On podcast. We're really glad you're joining us.
So come on and join us in the trenches.
Come on.
Ketchup.
We're talking about room temperature ketchup. Do you like the hot syrup at Cracker Barrel?
I used to when I used to eat stuff like that.
Dude, I love it so much. They sell like the big ones too.
Have
It
you
is
ever
good.
had the apple butter?
From Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
Dude.
I've heard it's
had it?
good.
Is that?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's good.
Dude, it's amazing.
I'm
Apple
into
butter.
their hash brown casserole. I really like that.
It's such an old man thing to eat.
You're gonna
Goodness gracious. I get chicken strips.
That's a
I'm
young.
all-
Like,
like my
do you
kid.
put
Yeah.
syrup on your chicken strips?
Oh, like
try
isn't like
that.
chicken and waffles like super good?
Oh yeah.
I've heard that that's really good. I've never had it.
Yeah.
It's like a really popular thing up north or something.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
my daughter really likes it.
But
I
you
just can't-
put the syrup on the chicken?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that
Well,
sounds
that's-
amazing.
My favorite thing is like fried chicken with honey. I don't know. I like to dip it in honey.
It's fried chicken and honey. From like
Never had honey on a fried chicken.
Keith's favorite thing is quail eggs with syrup, warm syrup on them.
ooh.
Do like a quail egg, no syrup. Hold syrup.
Well, first, we can introduce our guest.
Yes, to my left here, I have Mr. Brandon Clark.
Woo!
Yay.
Yay.
Welcome. And then that's it. We don't have anybody else.
All right, guys.
This is Keith Bamburg, some of our
Yep.
closest friends.
Glad y'all invited us.
Oh yeah, very excited. Brandon is my mentor.
Yeah. Pray for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We Mr. Keith brought some quail eggs.
Yeah.
Are they? I didn't know they're quail eggs.
No, that's legit quail
You
eggs.
asked me if I like eggs. You didn't ask me if I like quail eggs.
No, that's pickled quail eggs.
I have had quail eggs, I think, from Cotton. I think they have quail eggs
Do they?
for like brunch.
No, those are regular eggs. We had them a
Are
couple
they?
weekends ago. Yeah.
You talking about the deviled eggs we had?
The deviled eggs. Yeah.
It's like sitting on top of something. I don't know. I'm probably tripping. I don't know.
Probably tripping.
Okay, probably tripping.
Yeah.
Well, can I try one?
Get one, yeah.
Fine.
I'd love for you to try one.
Fine. I've never had one before.
Be a first time experience.
I should have left it over here. I didn't know he never had one.
Yeah, he's never had one. That was the
whole point.
I really hope he doesn't like it on camera.
And your wife is going to thank us later.
Yeah.
Well, now in our new house we have 2 bathrooms. One of them's in the hallway, and one of them's in our bedroom.
Yeah. Don't go to the bedroom. I learned that one a long time ago.
Where'd you get these? 103 or something like that?
Now the old P&M hardware.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess it's still P&M. I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
they changed it to West Monroe Hardware, maybe.
Did they?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Have y'all been to Gene Cox lately?
Yeah,
No.
There's like nothing there.
nothing.
It's sad.
Okay, well, I went about 2 or 3 months ago, and I was like, man, went in after church, actually, to get some steaks and stuff to cook, and they didn't have anything.
Nothing. Empty.
Nothing. Sad. We went.
So
there
is
to
the
get some
meat
steak.
market closed then?
No, they just. I don't think they. I think they're kind of leaving that market or something like. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't want one.
I've already had one.
No, let's see what you
I've had
got.
like 3.
I've had.
Goodness.
Yeah, I've had
Oh
2.
goodness.
Well, that thing can stretch on out there. Look at that.
So you need to get you a there's the egg, sausage, and looks like jalapeno slices. Get a jalapeno slice with the egg.
Holy smokes. That is unleaded.
Yeah, get the jalapeno, maybe.
Oh, I got to get like multiple things on one fork.
No, just
No,
No,
let's try
the
the
eggs
eggs.
first.
Is it like spicy?
No.
If I can eat it, you can eat it.
I was about to blow on it.
it won't help.
You're gonna like it, I promise.
I put it in my mouth. You're gonna hate it. So I'm
See?
not.
Go ahead and get another.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not getting like egg. You know what I mean? It's good.
So what are you getting?
You,
Spice. I don't know. It's like
I'm not like I'm expecting egg taste. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But I'm not. It's the texture of an egg, but it's the taste of like Cajun.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's about to
burn.
light him up.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Put a jalapeno on there. Can y'all hear me chewing? Not bad.
That is so
I
good.
told you.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I love them.
My wife can't
Wow.
stand them.
Mine either.
My none of mine. My
My
family
wife won't eat. Well, she'll eat egg whites, but other than that, she's not gonna eat an egg.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Growing up, I never had like my mom or my dad never really, or to my knowledge, we didn't boil eggs. And so Kirsten the other day, she boiled. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna boil some eggs. You want one?" I'm like, "What?" And obviously I've had them like at Thanksgiving. What is it? Deviled
egg?
Deviled egg.
Yeah.
I've had those, but I was like, "What do you mean you're gonna boil an egg?"
You really didn't know what she was
I
talking
had no
about?
idea.
Wow.
No clue. And so she was like, "Well, I'm just gonna boil them, and then they're gonna be hard, like a deviled egg, and you're just gonna eat it." I'm
Salt
like,
and pepper.
Oh, yeah.
but you're not gonna put anything in it, you know? Like, and so I just didn't know. So she's like, "Trust me." And then she put salt on it for me, and I ate it. I ate 2 of them,
So good.
and it filled me up too.
Mhm.
Only 2 of them.
Yeah.
It was good.
Can I tell y'all something I noticed right now? All the old men are sitting with their leg crossed.
The bad thing is my foot's going to go to sleep in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah.
I can't do that.
Tell me you're getting old without telling me you're getting
Yeah, I
old.
know.
See, I don't see that. I would think it would be opposite, like because my knees kill me. Right, like lately, I
Yeah,
can't.
All that hard work.
Yeah, you just drive me to the ground. I can't move. I'm kidding.
Oh man. Well, I guess we'll dive into it.
Yeah, this is exciting. That y'all are our
Yeah.
first guests.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
No, it's pretty cool. I'm honored to be here. So.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
y'all.
y'all very much.
I think we're gonna do this a lot more often too because
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Very fun.
We're doing accountability,
What?
which is appropriate for the 4 of us to do. I think each one of us reach out to each other when we need something or just checking on each other. Brandon is Sawyer's mentor, so obviously there's some accountability there.
Yep. Met with him this
He needs a
morning.
lot more.
Step it up.
A little less positive, and a little more on
They
the
need to
negative.
a little more discipline.
You're about to put him on payroll. No, I that's like I've had accountability in the past, and it's usually been like people that were my age, and I think that's better once you mature more. But at the age that I was getting it, it just really wasn't like we were feeding off each other, but it was not always positive. And one day there were a lot of things going on. My marriage was suffering for a lot of reasons, and I was dealing with a lot of insecurities, and just wasn't able to get through a lot of things. And I didn't really have that person in my life that I could talk to about it. That was a mature ear to lean on. And Kirsten was just like, "You've got to get someone, get a mentor, get someone." And I was very hesitant. I didn't want to, but long story short, Brandon just like fell out of the sky, and God made him in a lab and put him in my life, and it has truly like transformed my life. And like our Wednesday morning meetings are like, I look forward to them every week. Very very helpful. And we just it's not that was gross. That's that deviled egg. I'm sorry. But like and it's not always like the majority of the time I just find myself like telling him everything, and I just like talk to him about the stuff. And then someone like this morning, he asked me how my week's been, and then we just started talking about theology and just started like talking about stuff, and it was so awesome. And it just like helps me out so much, and I enjoy it very much. But it's not, like the topic today, it's not always fun.
yeah.
It
I mean,
gets
it
hard.
can be too, though. A
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
people think of accountability as just somebody to call you out. Accountability is, let's saying that weird. Accountability.
Accountability.
You can have that in your marriage, your
Yep.
business.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be somebody that you just open up to for everything.
Sure.
It could be somebody that anything.
Yeah.
Like I have an accountability partner in my business stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
he's my mentor that I reach out to. And every time he calls me, first question out of his mouth, where are we? He wants to know, he has full access to my financials. He wants to know where I am with everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be somebody that calls you out on your.
Sure. Sure.
That's what I
But
learned
you need
today.
it. You need it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Marriage, financial.
I never, because the part of my notes, I listened to a sermon just to kind of just get more insight, and that's what they said was that it's not all about the negatives, like you don't just do the negatives. Like let's just say maybe it come from a negative. Maybe if porn was your issue and now you're you're a week out of it or a month, and that person's job or part of accountability is positive. Like, hey man, do good job. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a week.
You
Building them up.
Celebrate the victories that come along with it.
Oh yeah.
But there, like you were saying though, it doesn't always. Good grief.
I do. I think it's the eggs.
Dang eggs got
It doesn't always have to be negative, but sometimes there's a lot of hard conversations that have to.
Yeah.
They have to be had.
Yeah.
You have to have that
yeah.
person in your life as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's mine. I mean, he's my accountability.
Brandon,
He has free access to ask me anything.
and that's biblical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all do retreats and stuff, and that's a big thing is finding somebody to hold you accountable. And the problem is a lot of people don't like that because they feel like it's somebody telling them what to do.
Sure.
But it's not me trying to tell you what to do. It's me recognizing something that you're hurting yourself or you're hurting your family or you're hurting, the kingdom of God. And it's my responsibility to bring it up to you.
Yep.
It's an act of love. It's not it's not an act of condemnation
Yeah.
or hate or I'm more holy than you.
Sure.
That's not what it's about.
Sure. And it's the job. It's the person that you're holding accountable. It's their job to, as a Christian, to be receptive to that.
Yeah.
And if you're not, I challenge you to look at your walk with God. I'm not saying you're not Christian enough, and I'm not saying you're not, you're not at the level that you should be at. But man, like God placed those people in your life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That person, even if they're dead wrong, still I would just say like take a step back and look at like own whatever percentage of that you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And surely that person has your best if they're walking in right step with God and they're sensitive to the Spirit, then surely they are they have some sort of knowledge and they love you enough to say that whatever they're saying to you. And so it's your job as a Christian to be receptive to that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also just as important,
Mm-hmm.
because if I walk up to Keith and say, hey, I'm not saying this happens, but say, hey, like you talked to your wife a certain way the other day. I don't think that was right.
Yeah.
And I would like, I love you enough to say like, I would, look at that differently and let's see what we can do differently. And then he's like, dude, screw you, like I'm not, I talk to my wife the way I want to, like, even if I was wrong, even if he did, like, even if I was just reading that wrong and they have a certain way to speak to each other, that doesn't mean that Keith can't say, thank you, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Like, let's, I want to look at that.
But people that have a good understanding of what accountability is, they won't, take that as an offense. It's they see that as, you helping him out.
Sure.
That's what I said. A lot of people see it as, well, don't tell me how to talk to my wife. Don't tell me that, I shouldn't say these things but that's not what I'm not trying to control your life. I'm trying to help you.
Exactly.
That's I got the verse for it. Psalm 141, verse 5 is, let the godly strike me. This is David. Let the godly strike me. It will be a kindness. if they correct me, it is soothing medicine. Don't let me refuse it.
Mm.
That's what he's saying, and that ties into another part that I heard was that don't let your basically what y'all are saying is if you let your pride get in the way, that's basically what it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
If you're too prideful, you're not going to find that accountability partner because you don't want them to call you out. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And that it's tough. I mean, even for me, I meet with my mentor, which y'all know him, Jim, every Friday, and you know, the good thing about that relationship is, and with our relationship is, I can just tell you anything, and I just know, you know, you either going to tell me that it's okay or not okay,
Yeah.
and I really like that, and I think you got to set that up front with somebody when you create that relationship, because if you kind of come in just kind of, oh yeah, everything's good, and then all of a sudden you start hammering on them, they're probably going to take it wrong.
That's why I'm big about like I've told Keith this, and he's told me this, and I'll tell you guys, like, get in my business if you have to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I give you permission, man.
Oh,
Step
yeah.
on my toes, get in my business. If you see me doing something that you know I shouldn't be doing, get in my business. You have full access, man.
Yeah. I would. So as far as like y'all, I know how, and we can get into that later. But like as far as you two, what does it look like on a day-to-day, weekly basis? What does accountability look like to you guys? Like, is it just is it like at the thought level or whatever? Is it at the temptation level of whatever you're dealing with? Is it, hey, I had a bad day. Hey, I had a really rough week. I'm struggling with blank. You know, what does that look like logistics wise?
We reach out to each other pretty frequently. I mean, he comes to the house, or I shouldn't say he.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a part of our family.
Sure.
I mean, that's Uncle Brandon and Aunt Megan to our kids. They come. It's a weekly hangout almost.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know how to explain it other than he has full knowledge of everything I do everywhere I am. Not everywhere I am, but
And it's probably
he has enough access to me to know everything about me.
Very transparent.
Yeah.
And the thing, and he probably feels the same with me. Like, if I'm around, he don't even have to say anything.
Sure.
Like, I know something's bothering him.
Oh, yeah.
Or I know something's wrong.
And I think that's what it takes with accountability. You have to be around.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to spend time with people. You can't just. That's what I was going to read. He hit that one on the head a minute ago. Where is it? I got to get back to the one that I was going to read now. It's in Hebrews. It says, "And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing."
Yeah.
So you have to. You can't just say you have accountability partner and talk to them once a month.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a life thing.
Yep. Well, you look at the disciples with Jesus, and I might be misinterpreting the scripture, but whenever Jesus would say, like whenever the disciples would be arguing amongst each other, or they would be thinking a certain way, and Jesus would say, like he knew what they were thinking. Does that mean that he was reading their thoughts, or were they doing ministry with
I
each
think
other
it's
for
the same
3
like he's
years?
talking
You know
about.
what I mean?
You know.
And like he could just look at him and be like, all right, y'all need to chill out. You know, like he knew exactly what they were thinking.
How long have you and your wife been together?
2 years.
Do you know when she's mad?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Same
You
thing.
know,
They were together
right.
for 3 years. I mean,
Exactly.
it's every day. So
And
you
I can
know.
I can pretty much tell you what she's thinking whenever I say a
And
word.
probably what she's going to say.
Yep.
So
Yep.
You have to do life with people. It's just part of it.
Yep. That is so good.
Your people.
Yeah.
You have to do life with like-minded people.
Sure.
I think it's speaking of marriage is doing accountability in marriage could be, especially like me and you have kids. So, are we spending time with our wives? Because I know, we have sports, we have school, we have all this. So spending intentional time with your wife, because you've already had one graduate just a couple of days
this
ago.
past week. Yeah. Past Monday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, at some point they're going to be gone. You're going to have
you and
two
your wife,
people.
yeah.
And so you gotta stay accountable. Just making sure, you take them on dates and things like that.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, like the last kid graduates, and then y'all are total strangers to each other because y'all haven't spent time.
It's
in a
always
while.
been kids. I mean,
It's
that's
just
a lot
been
of people are
engulfed.
traveling ball and this and that, and it's
Yeah.
not no more date nights.
Yep.
You have to make that time.
And I mean, I struggle with that as a newlywed. Like I say newlywed, 2 years. We just get consumed with work, and like it's the same thing. Like, I I know we're getting off into a different topic, but like, you know, spending time with each other, and that bleeds into, you know, the dynamics of accountability and like being with each other is like life can get away from you. I know for like the first 2 months, I say the first 2 months of us meeting together, we could only meet like every 2 weeks because I didn't at the time. This was before I had the company truck. All I had was Kirsten's car, and she was in class or she was working late, and I just didn't have a way to go, and so we'd meet like once a month, and then found like you blessed me with the company truck, and I was just like, I can meet more, and then Brandon was like, yeah, let's meet once a week, and I was like, yeah, let's go,
Yeah.
and then it like from there just took off, but you got to be able to make that time for those people because I think that's one of the main things that Satan's going to try. I say Satan, the enemy's going to try to distract you with is being busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I found out we decided to do this on accountability, man, my mind went to one passage, man, and I think it kind of speaks on accountability. And it's in Galatians, kind of a long one, but I'll read it. And this is Paul talking, obviously. He says, "But when Cephas, who was Peter, came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he stood condemned. For prior to the coming of some men from James, he used to eat with the Gentiles, but when they came, he began to withdraw and separate himself, fearing those from the circumcision. The rest of the Jews joined him in hypocrisy, with the result that even Barnabas was carried away by their hypocrisy. But when I saw that they were not straightforward about the truth of the gospel, I said to Cephas in the presence of all, if you, being a Jew, live like the Gentiles and not like the Jews, how is it that you compel the Gentiles to live like Jews?" And I think we need to wrap our head around the fact that, like, the boldness it took for Paul to call out Peter, like, dude, like that's Peter. Like, he rode with Jesus for 3 years. He was Jesus' right-hand dude. And Paul called him out, but he called him out because Peter was being hypocritical. He was hurting his own walk by being hypocritical. He was taking Barnabas down with him because Barnabas obviously was going to follow Peter with what he did.
Yep.
And you know, Paul called him on it. He called him on what he was doing, and it wasn't out of, you know, Paul and Peter didn't have any beef. Like, he wasn't trying to.
Right.
But he saw that he was harming himself, he was harming the church, and he was going to call him on it.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously that made an impact on Peter because if you read Peter's letters, you know, he goes back to what, you know, not being hypocritical.
Right.
As far as like bringing the Gentiles in with the Jews.
Right.
So to me, that's, you know,
I love that passage.
Probably don't think about that as accountability as we see it today, but he was 100% holding Peter accountable.
Oh yeah.
He saw what he was doing. He was like, "No, dude, like, like I'm going to call you out. It may upset you, but you know, what you're doing is wrong, and you're better than that."
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, and he did it in love too. And
Absolutely.
so, and obviously Peter was wise. Just to tie that in, it says, this is Proverbs 9:8. So don't bother correcting mockers. They will only hate you, but correct the wise and they will love you. So their relationship, he was able to correct him because he was going to listen, you know, and really do it. Whereas if it would have just been some random, or I say random, just some other maybe proclaimed Christian or whatever, and he did that same thing, they might have tied up, you know.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
absolutely.
So,
Oh yeah. Obviously, Peter had a respect for Paul, you know, to take that rebuke, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, obviously Peter had a respect for Paul and what Paul was doing to obviously see that, you know, because it don't seem like Peter took any offense to it.
Sure. Right.
So
Exactly.
and it may get you your feathers a little ruffled.
absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
because you're, you know,
We're
you think
human.
about it, and anytime you're called out for being wrong, you're going to
Challenged.
kind of,
Yeah.
Or
you're going to accept it.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Maybe not right away.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's something I struggle with constantly, and I'm not going to get into the specifics, but like there was one time that me and Kirsten were arguing about something, and it boiled down to like she just said, well, just call Brandon. And so I was like, all right, like, and I was convinced I was right. I was like, all right, here we sneak and go, and
He gonna have my back. That's
He's
my
about to
boy.
shut her down. And we call Brandon, and me and Kirsten are sitting on the couch, and he said, like, we tell him what's going on, and I give him the spiel, and Brandon's like, well, Sawyer, you messed up, bud. And I was like, I need to press this red button right now.
Yeah. Sorry, you're on my
Oh, I need a crawfish out of this one. Here we go. But like, man, it stung so bad because like, you feel so, and even in moments that like, you're messing up, like the last thing you want to hear is, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. And the last thing that I'm sure Brandon wanted to say was, hey, sorry you screwed up, but you have to, and I'm so glad he did, because it finally like lifted this veil, the scales off my eyes, where I was able to see like, man, I really was messing up in that area. And once I stopped doing that, or I have noticed doing, I'm not saying I do it perfectly now, but like once I have seen that and I'm able to know, I'm aware of it, like it's made me I feel like it's made me a better husband because of it. And now Brandon asks me all the time, he's like, hey, how are you doing in that area?
Yeah.
And that verse that you just said reminded me of whenever Jesus was talking to the disciples, and he was like, well, who does everybody say I am? And they were like, well, they say blah, 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 blah. And then he said, well, who do you say I am? And Peter said, you're the Messiah. And then Jesus says, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And we kind of read through that, and we're like, oh, that's awesome that he said that. Dude, Jesus said that to Peter. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 verses down, it says, get behind me, Satan. This is Jesus talking to Peter. Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man. And that scene, like, I can imagine the whiplash that Peter was experiencing in that moment of, like,
He had his chest poked out for a minute.
Guess what?
Feet out.
Did y'all hear what Jesus just said to me?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's got Jesus' fingers in his chest, and it's like, but man, like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
And you can't, and I'm sure Peter felt challenged and embarrassed in that moment, and he felt all these emotions, but I promise you, he listened to him,
Oh, yeah.
because he knows, like, Jesus knows what he's talking about, and he had to be receptive to that. And I'm sure, like Keith said, like it wasn't all at once, but you have to be receptive of that, and it's gonna hurt.
It's crazy at all the different scriptures we have, and it's
Dude,
like
here
in
we go.
Proverbs, an
Come
open
on.
rebuke is better than hidden love. I mean, it is everywhere.
What was it again? I'm sorry.
Proverbs, an open rebuke is better than hidden love.
Yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
This is
I'm telling
Proverbs
you, it's
again.
everywhere.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
Accountability
Proverbs
is
27:8.
huge.
Let me see. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah.
I got
I
one
don't
at
even know.
27
I
as
got on
well.
the wrong one.
I got
27:6. I'm sorry.
27:17 is iron sharpens iron. And
That's-
it
yeah.
is
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
And then 27:6. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy.
Yeah.
And this guy, he tied the verse when I heard that. He said, "I'd rather be criticized by the wise than praised by the ungodly." So he's saying, I'd rather have a friend that'll come to me and tell me, like, you know, how I
Than
can
100
imagine
people.
you in that
Yeah.
moment. I'm thinking of you because I know where I've been, and I've been, like, man, this and this, and then the person that I'm telling this to will like, no, dude, you were wrong,
Oh yeah.
and you like, you know how that
They-
feels.
You thought you were to
You're
get
like-
all, you thought, I got Brandon on my side. And then,
So I'd rather somebody that loves me correct me and tell me what, the right thing than just say, oh yeah, you got it. And then me keep going and doing bad things.
It really does make me sick, like that feeling. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I know for me, and I'm pretty sure most everybody's like that. Like, I don't like telling you or anybody.
Nobody
Like,
does,
I
but
don't,
we-
I
yeah.
don't like being like, man, you're screwing up. I don't
Oh,
like
yeah.
doing that.
Oh yeah. I can
You
imagine.
know, deep down in me, I am a people pleaser. So I don't,
me too.
you know, I want people to be, you know, I don't want to make people upset.
Yep.
But it's at times where I'm like, if I know what you're doing is not right, I've just got to, you know, bite it and tell
Yep.
you, man, because a lot of times people we get love and tolerance confused, if that
Wow.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can sit there and be like, yeah, man, you just
Mm,
keep doing
that's
what
so
you're
good.
doing. You keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't, you know, she's wrong, you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that because that's what you want to hear.
You don't meet with Kirsten once a week.
Right.
You meet with me once a week.
but that's
and so it's like
that's what you want to hear.
right. Exactly.
But that's not loving.
Yep. Wow.
Loving is telling you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it.
Mm.
So that love and tolerance, man, especially today, it's done gotten so twisted.
Dude, louder for the people in the back. That is so good.
Yeah. And I want to bring this up too, because we talked about how accountability is not always negative. And I was looking at verses with this, and I feel like this ties into it. 1 Thessalonians 5:11, therefore encourage one another and build one another up, just as you also are doing.
Yep.
You know, it's, you know, we have a good relationship. We all have a good relationship, but
Sure.
I mean, like if I met with y'all, and like every time I met with y'all just beat up on me.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
like I appreciate you telling me the truth, but man, give me a break.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But like,
Oh
Can I
yeah.
do something good here?
yeah,
Yeah.
but like whenever, man, if you've got a problem with something and maybe you've gotten just 1% better, man, let's celebrate that 1%.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to encourage you to keep going. Let's celebrate that, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to beat you up over it because you're not completely healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's celebrate the little victories that go along the way.
Well, think about that verse, like with Jesus rebuking Peter in that moment. Imagine if 5 verses before he hadn't have said that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he said, "Get behind me, Satan." It kind
different-
of flips it, and it's like, man, like if Jesus would have just he kind of fed him first before he,
Right.
you know what I mean. I'm not saying
it's the what is that called? It's a affirmation sandwich or something.
Sure.
You give like a you give like a 1 minute
hug
praise,
before,
then you hit them with
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
I love
So
you,
like,
but
you did good, but you could have done this, and then you're
Yeah.
like, but you're getting it. You know.
that's your tactic. That's what you do. That's all the time.
Affirmation sandwich. I'm going to start using that affirmation sandwich with you. That's what I'm going to do.
Do that.
Sorry,
it's
you're-
it's the indirect thing. I tell Keith
up
like,
the
man,
good
I
work,
wish
Sawyer."
people wouldn't do this and this, but I really wanted to tell him directly.
I tell him all the time, keep up the good work. So I like all the time.
Yeah.
So tying, I mean, like I said a minute ago, it's crazy. We're just bouncing off each other. And Hebrews let us think of ways to motivate one another with acts of love and good works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
What's that verse that says like outdo each other by serving each other?
Yeah.
Outdo each other. Like if you're gonna pride yourself on anything, pride yourself on I love this person more than he loves. Not that he love him more than he loves me, but like I pride
Serve
myself
them.
on I serve
Yeah.
the heck out of that.
If we're going to have a competition, let it be like who serves each other better.
Yep.
Get somebody
Yeah.
a water
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
when they come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I come in here and need a water, you know.
Feed
that's-
quail eggs.
Oh, you should have put some hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
Dude.
ZB Hunts on.
That would have been great.
So I went to a funeral, and I don't know that this didn't necessarily tie into accountability, but I got to share it because the pastor said that when everybody, or if everybody that has passed from earth, whether they were saved or not saved, so if they're in heaven or hell or whatever, if they came right now and they were going to enter this room, float down or come up, whatever, and land on that floor, no matter which way it went, the first thing that they would tell you would be to repent. Because if you think about that, they've either gone to heaven and they know about heaven, you know, what Jesus, they met Jesus,
Yep.
or they've gone the other way and they know that you need to go,
Wow.
you need to
Yeah.
repent and go. He said that, man. I don't know. It just struck me good. It was just a good thing to think
It made
about.
me think about when Jesus was, you know, talking about the poor man Lazarus that died and went to hell, and he was, you know, he was basically saying like, you know, tell everybody else like not to come here, like, and that's a lot what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, let everybody else know like I can't come out of this, but let everybody else know not to come here.
Wow.
I think I could tie that into accountability. So I'm sure y'all have heard of this. It was Penn and Teller, one of the two magician guys. They're atheist
Yeah.
or something, and he said, "How much do you have to hate somebody to believe that this is true? Believe in the gospel and not tell them about it?"
Yeah.
And the way I look at that, like accountability, with what we do, we have godly accountability. It's not
Sure.
like, hey man, don't drink 26 beers tonight, just drink
Yeah.
12. That's
Yeah.
We're talking about a different type of accountability. This is godly accountability. So the way I look at that is, if I don't do that for you, it's possible that could lead you down either backsliding, or you could lead you down the path that you don't need to go.
Yeah.
We're going down another avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that. It's I heard this quote one time. You saying that reminded me of it. But if you died and then you went to heaven and God was like, I'll give you 5 minutes to go back to earth, and you can go wherever you want, and you can you can talk to whoever you want. 5 minutes. Where are you going? What are you doing? And I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough one, because and that kind of ties into like, okay, why not do it now? But the Great Commission, whenever Jesus was about to ascend back into heaven after he had raised from the dead, and revealed himself to all the people, the Great Commission was the last thing that he told us, which I think is one of the most important things, was go and share the gospel. And we always tie that into mission trips and sharing, like going, like meeting
Big
strangers.
things.
Yeah, like
Evangelism.
right, exactly. Like turning non-believers into believers. I would 100% say that what Brandon is doing with me, and like what you're doing with me and you as well, like all of this together, like this is sharing the gospel.
Sure.
Not necessarily like the podcast, but like what we do, like day to day, living life together and feeding off of each other and having those hard conversations is really like the gospel.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I'm gonna if you're having marital problems or relationship problems with somebody else, yeah, I'll keep you accountable on it. But man, at the end of the day, the most important thing in every one of our lives is our relationship with God.
Oh yeah.
So I'm, if nothing else, if I see or feel like you're doing something that's causing a separation between you and God, then I think we all should, and we all do need to address that.
Yeah.
Because and you can get mad at me and you can hate me for it, and I'll be okay with that. I consider you all closest people to me, and I would hate for any of you to hate me. But if you hating me got you closer to God, then
Wow.
I mean,
Job done.
Job done.
Yeah.
it's one of the hardest. I wish we had that button. Beeping things. That's one of the hardest things, though, is especially when you're not real close with somebody and you say those. You maybe, I don't know. You do some accountability with somebody you don't have the best, the real close
Yeah.
relationship
Oh,
with,
yeah.
and then you notice that they don't come near you or talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks for us because it creates just that tension, I guess. And you don't want that, but it's just the other side just doesn't want to accept it sometimes, and it sucks.
Well, the last thing I want to do is like, and there's a lot, and we touched on it in a past episode, but whenever I'm in a group of like my church friends and we're joking about something inappropriate, or not necessarily inappropriate, but just like something that, kind of teeters the line that probably shouldn't be joked about, inappropriate.
Yeah.
Or doing something that I know, like, hey, we probably shouldn't be doing this. The last thing I want to do is call them out. I struggle. That's something I struggle with, and I leave those moments feeling icky about myself too, because I'm like, man, it's almost my job you know, it's all of our job as Christians to do that. Like how Paul called out Peter, how Jesus called out Peter. You know, how we hold each other accountable. It falls on all of our responsibility to, you know, carry that on. And to who said don't be the thermostat, be the thermometer. Or no,
No,
it's
you
backwards.
said that. You said that.
It's backwards. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer.
Yeah.
Set the temperature.
Set the temperature.
Yeah.
If you think about, you threw me off when you said that.
Yeah, that's what
Squirrel. If you think about I'm going to ask you just a question. If you think about accountability, like somebody, maybe they're listening, they want accountability. One of the things, I'll share the one way that I think you could get this is obviously you want somebody godly, but man, get accountability no matter where you're at, whatever stage of life you're in. Somebody that's more mature, but one way that I do this a lot is I'll declare something, like make a declaration, like I'll just use what I did recently was caffeine and chocolate. So I tell people that, but I'm not like, ooh, look at me, I'm not doing caffeine. You know, it's not even a big deal. I'm doing that because I made a commitment to myself to
Open
not do
declaration.
this. I want
Yeah.
Keith to be like, how's that caffeine thing going?
Right.
And that
Or if I
way,
see you with
you
a
know,
Coke, I'm like, hey, bro.
yeah. So I think one way is a declaration. I mean, is there any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I agree with. I think you should always be specific. Like if what you're dealing with is, you know, say you've got a problem with, you know, cussing, like you can't, and you make that declaration, like, man, I need you to I need you to hold me accountable on this.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I said earlier. Like, I'm giving you permission to step in and call me on it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah. I think being specific with what you're needing accountability on and finding people that don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of people just don't feel comfortable doing that. And that's what, you know, we talked about, or you brought up Jim earlier. That's, you know, I feel like I learned so much from Jim because he will call you on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like Jim will call, but every time he does it, you leave without a shadow of a doubt that he loves you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like like he can call you out and he don't make you feel guilty about it.
Sure.
He don't make you feel condemned about it.
Belittled, nothing. You know?
Nothing like that. But you know that he done it because he loves you.
Yeah.
And that's what I strive for. Like I don't ever want to come off that I'm doing it to judge you or I feel like I'm more holy than you or whatever. It's because I love you, and I think Jim's a perfect example of that.
Oh yeah.
That's the hard part is when you when somebody's rough around the edges, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like you're doing it a lot. And that's that, whatever I called it earlier, the sandwich. That's where you got to find some positive.
And that is hard for, especially like all of us sitting here. Like we come from like, you know, the blue collar working man background where like it's rough.
Rough.
Yeah.
Like it's rough. Even like the joking and stuff is rough. So
real rough.
you know, you do it for so long, you do kind of get that rough around the edges kind of, and it's hard to come off, you know, anything but rough.
Yeah.
I was talking to a dude, it's been a few months ago, and he's like, he just got in church or whatever. And he was like, man, I like that pastor sermon, man. That S word was good, man. I was like, yeah. I mean,
Yes,
in that situation, you know, I think
I wouldn't
you
have
just
said
let
it that way,
one.
but okay.
I was like, that's good.
There's a time and a place, I think, and that brings up a good point. Is like, man, don't expect people to be at, you know, the place that I'll not necessarily where you are, but like but where you are, and like if you hear a guy like, I don't know, I want to say a new Christian, it just you got to meet people where they're at. And yeah, you want to build from there. And if you're not, I think if you're not growing, you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
You always, you know, if a shark isn't swimming, it's dead. You constantly need to be like finding things. But there's a verse, don't cast your pearls before swine. I interpret that verse as don't tell non-believers their sin tell non-believers about Jesus.
That's right.
You know, like
That's good.
Yeah,
bring-
same, yeah. I think of the same way. Yeah.
yeah, like don't sit there and like hound them about, hey, please stop sleeping around. Hey, please stop. You know, blah blah blah. Hey, you really need to move out of your girlfriend's house or whatever.
because you're not married. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at that point. It goes back to you're pretty much telling them that get your stuff together and then get to Jesus.
Exactly.
Instead of the other way around.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy in my story is when I got baptized, I just knew that
Yep.
something happened to me and I needed Jesus, and what it says in the Bible is repent or confess, repent, and be baptized. And so that's what I did just out of like doing it. I didn't even know I think back on that, like I didn't even know, like I don't even know what to say. I didn't know. I just didn't know things.
Yeah.
I just knew that something happened and I had to get baptized, and then I just kept walking down that path.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get it twisted. I struggle with it a lot, is thinking like somebody cusses or claims to be Christian and they do this or that, and I get this bad taste, which I guess is okay, but I don't need to go just hound on them.
Exactly.
I may have said that bad a minute ago. Nobody's going to be on our level. I mean, nobody's ever going to be on your level.
Right,
That
exactly.
you think the way I meant for that to come out is just like you are. Nobody's ever going to believe the way I do, is the way that should have came out.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody do something, you can't throw stones, or you have to
Your
love 'em.
convictions
Yeah.
are your convictions,
Exactly.
not theirs.
Oh yeah.
When I said that earlier, that probably came out, well, I'm not on the level.
We're gonna-
nobody's going to be on my level. I meant that as
I had to learn
nobody's
that.
ever going to be on my level. I mean, my attitude, it's just,
Yeah.
Did you go to Spring, Texas? Yeah. Okay. God, I can't remember. That's where I learned that about my convictions are
my conviction.
mine, and I'm not supposed to be the one to convict you about what you're doing. I might can tell you.
You can tell. We
about
can
it.
talk about it, and we
Yeah,
need to
that's
talk
fine,
about it.
but
We need to
I
be able to
can't
talk
force
about it.
you. Or
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I can't make you do anything.
Oh,
All I
yeah.
can do is suggest, tell you what the Bible says, and at that point, it's between you and God.
Oh yeah.
But I also think you need people in your life where you can tell your beliefs to, and you should be able to take them, not take them and run with them, but take them and tell me yours. I think
That's so good.
we talked about gossip, and I think we can. That was where I was getting at, because we can get in a group where you believe the same things, and you can.
You just
You
feed
might-
off each
you
other.
kind of might get into a little bit of gossip, and you're not
Golly.
meaning to. It just
Yeah.
happens, man.
We actually, that's
hate it.
funny. We were talking about that this morning. Like I love talking to people that don't necessarily believe all the little things that I believe, or like I say little things, but like, because to me the one thing as Christians we should agree on is death, burial, and resurrection of Christ.
Correct.
Yep.
All the other little stuff is secondary, but I love hearing other people's views on it that differ
yeah.
from mine, because I mean I feel like that's how we grow. Like
Yep.
we don't have to fight about it. We're not gonna, I don't want to sit here and debate you, but I would like to hear why you think you do, like why you think that. And I'd
Right.
like to tell you why,
Why
I
do you
think
think
that.
that's okay?
especially as somebody that gets passionate about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, I'm not I'm good. I see your side and I see my side. Like
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. I'm just it's just
Iron
not
sharpening
what I'm
iron.
doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know a topic that's, I know it's close to your heart and all of us really is the topic on alcohol, where you have some people that, it's like you shouldn't drink alcohol at all. And then you have some people that's like, well, I can have one or two as long as I don't get drunk. That's personal convictions, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's not like,
There's no cut and dry.
there's no cut and dry. That's a personal conviction. Like for me personally, I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
If I saw somebody have one beer, am I gonna like condemn them to hell? Absolutely not. Now if I see that person getting drunk, then that's where the accountability
Oh, yeah.
kicks in, right? That's where that accountability.
It also comes back to, I think we've all had this conversation before. Man, it's a touchy subject. You got to be careful. You have the
watch
sanctification.
the YouTube comments on this.
I've already had the alcohol one's already got. So.
You're welcome.
So you have you have the sanctification process that comes in there as well. Your sanctification process may have been 2 months. This other guy's maybe 20 years.
Right.
So that's where it's all love. You have to love somebody no matter what. It sucks watching somebody do the things that you disagree with, but that doesn't mean
Right.
we can't love them.
That's
Yeah.
very,
Because they're convicted.
So
I know. I'm
much.
right there with you. I'm right there with you. But it's
I know.
everybody. That's what I meant earlier. Everybody's not.
It's not cut and dry.
Yeah, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
My beliefs aren't their beliefs.
That's
My
right.
walk isn't their walk.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you can go.
Well, that's like I'll use anger as one thing. I can't even like I was. That's what Michael Walker asked me. He's like, "Well, how'd you get rid of your anger?" I was like, "I didn't do anything. He just delivered me from it." So
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference there. But there's other things that I had to spend 3, 4. Some of
Yeah.
them I'm still working through.
Oh yeah.
and
and
some
so-
other people's those drop like that, like
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So
Anger.
some
That's that
people-
same.
yeah.
Everybody's.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, like I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago where like, dude, I used to cuss like a sailor,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason, like as soon as
Still do.
as soon as soon as I surrendered to Christ, that was like the first thing that changed, and
Okay, yeah.
I
Oh,
never
yeah.
even had to fight it.
Wow.
Like it was never even a temptation or like slip out.
Mm-hmm.
But for this other person I was talking to, that's a big thing they struggle with, and it's like man, I said that, I don't know why I said that, it slipped out,
Mm-hmm.
and that got me
How
thinking.
did that slip out of
Yeah,
your mouth?
and
Okay.
it got me thinking, like what you just said, like everybody's different.
Yep.
Like that was easy for me. Like I didn't even hardly have to try that.
Yeah.
There's the other things that I've struggled with that he probably don't. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and so everybody's different with that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the whole, and I know we're getting back to where we said on our last episode, but, or one of the last. Now I'm on caffeine. Like, what kind of Bible thumper
Right.
am I right now?
Right.
Like, I'm sitting
Oh,
here
my
trying
gosh.
to not drink caffeine because
You're
I'm
super
I'm
holy,
convicted
man.
about it. Exactly.
You're
you
super
know?
holy.
But yeah, it's
Open
crazy,
rebuke
dude.
coming in.
Yeah.
We love you, bro.
Yeah. Here's a Coke.
That is so funny. No, it like for me, and it's different for a lot of people. And I'm not trying to just like compare story or anything, but like I lay down Adderall and weed whenever I got the day I got baptized. Like I threw it all away cold turkey.
Would you
and
throw it away yet?
Where did I?
Keith's over there drunk.
In West Monroe. No, but like for a lot of people, and I know I'm not trying to beat this dead horse, but like I know for a lot of people, like that's hard, and I still struggle. Full transparency, I struggle a lot with lust and nicotine. I have, whenever I'm around it drives me crazy. Like I constantly crave it all the time. And, full transparent, there's times that like someone will have a vape around me and I'm having a really bad day. I slip up and I'll hit their vape. And man, I know like leaving those things, like I just, I feel so icky. But then, and this isn't a cop out, this isn't me justifying it at all, but like, just like what you were saying, I look back and I'm like, man, I was like, I couldn't go a day without being high on some sort of substance for a very long time. And like, there was a day where I couldn't go without watching porn like every 2 hours or something like that. There were days, and I'm not trying to like say that I'm a better person now or like I'm more holy or I'm more Christian and God, but like looking at what God has brought me through, it's crazy. And I know that's still a process and I'm a work in progress, but God has truly like transformed huge parts of my life and he's still transforming me. And that falls back on the accountability. Like I wouldn't be the person that I am today without accountability. And I confess these things to Brandon almost every day. And you have to be, this goes into something else, but like you have to be so transparent and there can't be any secrets.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, and I want to say like commend you for that, because big part of accountability is being honest,
Mhm.
and so and you are like, you'll tell me or if I ask you, or sometimes you'll just tell me without me asking you, like,
Yeah.
I slipped up with that, or I'm struggling with this. And that's, if you want somebody to hold you accountable, you have to be honest about it. Like, you can't just walk around or pretend like everything's fine, because then how am I going to hold you accountable?
Yep.
Like, I have to know what's going on.
Yep.
So honesty is key to
Everything.
that, everything to
Yeah.
that.
And telling somebody that you struggle with lust or porn or something, like just anything, man, it can be anything
Oh, yeah.
that's embarrassing or whatever to you is hard to do. But once
Yeah.
you do that, there's there is power in confessing your sins.
Sure.
I mean,
Yep.
it's all through scripture, but I think just getting that out, voicing it to somebody is that there's freedom in just
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
You're,
Oh,
taking
yeah.
you're,
Start that.
you're taking that from the darkness to the light at that point.
Yeah. You're exposing it.
You're exposing it.
Right.
It's what this accountability partner is like, somebody that comes into your darkest places and they got a light and they're looking to see
Yeah.
what that is, know what's in there, so they can get it out.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever forget the time, and I'm not trying to get intimate, but like I'll never forget the time when we were at the retreat. I'm not going to talk about the time that we were at, but I was praying over somebody, and then I was just getting done, and like I feel 3 hands come on my shoulders, and it's y'all, all 3 of you, and y'all grabbed me, pulled me over, and it was a time I was struggling with something, and y'all were all aware of it, and I will never forget that time, because it really, like, one, it empowered me. It made me feel, it exposed a lot of insecurities in me, because I felt alone. I felt like I was losing this fight. But then y'all came in and y'all were like, man, I've been there. I know exactly what you're going through. This isn't where it ends. It's not. This is not the end of the world. We love you and we're here for you. And like I will forever remember that. And I like, everyone needs that.
Yeah.
Like, just people to just pick you up. And one thing I was gonna ask is, how, I'm kind of going all over the place, but like, how did you two, were y'all friends before y'all became accountability partners, or did y'all meet and were like, that one? Right
It was
there?
pretty close.
Yeah. Say that again.
It was pretty close to like when we met. It was like instant almost.
Yeah. Because all 3 of us met at we all went to the same retreat together.
Wow, that's so awesome. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
It's
weren't
crazy.
there.
I
Three
remember
Musketeers, bro.
sitting down. How we eat or whatever,
Yeah,
and
sitting
sitting
right across
down
from you.
and
Yeah.
talking. And I thought his last name's Clark, so I thought he was related to this guy that from back in the day. And anyway,
Snap.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody else at first.
No, please don't do that to me.
no. And so yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
it's weird how that. And that's another thing I think is important, is we didn't force anything to happen. It just happened. You just got to get around you a group of dudes or women, whatever. For a dude, you need to be around dudes. I mean, I think you could have a woman accountability partner, especially in a marriage. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah,
it should be a group thing.
Yeah.
than that.
What I've told Brandon with the accountability stuff, and I don't know where you are with all your if you have, how many you have, but
So
you
many.
have to pay
I have so many
attention.
friends.
I forgot who said, it might have been Jim. You pay attention to your walk with Christ first. Every now and then look to your left and right and see who's there with you.
Yep.
Your friends are going to go. People are going to let you down. I think that was over the pulpit one morning. 100% of the time,
Yeah.
people will let you down.
100%.
So focus on Christ, and every now and then look to your left and right. See who's there.
Wow.
And these dudes are there every time I look. That's what I've told my wife. Every retreat we go to, it's not forced. As soon as I sit down and look around, it's
What's funny is people will be like, "Where's if it's me and him, where's Keith? Or where's Brandon? Where's Keith and Brandon?"
They don't ask me.
Not sorry. You were there. You weren't. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Didn't y'all have a slumber party last week, and I wasn't invited? That was
Yes.
weird. I didn't. It must
Pool
have got,
party this
It was
week.
in my spam.
Tent was full. It was 2-person tent. We had 3 already. So
Thanks, guys.
Next
But I will say this though, man, it's an absolute refreshing feeling. Like, with all of y'all sitting right here, like I can like tell y'all anything, and like without feeling like you're gonna judge me or make me feel bad and will tell me the truth. And that's a man. I don't know how people
live without it. Yeah, I don't know.
don't
Oh my
have that.
gosh, yeah. Like live with all the secrets
Yeah.
and the just walking around with like you're living a lie basically. And like I was, and I know that's true for all of you, like that was how you were before Jesus. And then once Jesus came into your life, you're like, I can give it, I can exhale finally. And it's so awesome.
Yeah.
But
It's so freeing to always bring up walk in the light as he is in the light. Just to be like, you just, everything I do pretty much can be on Facebook Live other than private personal things, obviously. But I'm not like out here doing this podcast and then going out, outside
partying,
smoking dope or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
yeah.
Dude, I really enjoyed this.
Oh my
Is
gosh.
it time to
was
quit
awesome.
already?
Yeah.
Come
Yes,
on,
yes.
really?
So
Go for
much
another
fun.
hour.
Yeah, dude, we need to do some more. I think we're gonna have our friend Jim for discipleship.
Yeah,
Very
it'd be
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad we might have to get like a whole little thing.
That'd be
about-
cool. Have like a square and like a fire pit in the middle or something.
360 camera.
Oh, that's a
That'd be-
good idea. We do a podcast around a fire pit.
Yeah.
There you go. I told him we needed to do one in the golf cart one day. That'd be
I
pretty
would
cool.
love that. Like us go golfing.
Yeah, that's kind
or
of
something.
lame.
Whatever, man.
You
You're
don't
so whatever.
Or I meant on a
Not a golf fan.
Not
Sorry.
around that one.
I'm going pro, just so everybody knows. I'm declaring it right now.
Go in the fishing boat. That's what.
yeah.
That'd be so much
So you
fun.
actually-
Actually
than a
can
golf
do
cart.
that. Yeah.
Way better. Than
Just don't go to Keith's camp. You ain't gonna catch nothing.
Yeah. That's
Hey, you only
awesome.
go to the camp.
Yeah.
You're not
Us three have us. Yeah.
Oh, they're
You're
bunk
invited
beds?
now.
Oh, I'll go. I'll just sleep in. I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and not go catch anything.
Spot just opened up.
So if you ask him how many he caught, then ask him how many I caught.
You slayed them, huh?
We won't get into
Time to wrap up the podcast.
Let's go.
Seriously, we appreciate y'all coming.
Oh
Thank
my
y'all.
gosh.
It was fun.
How fun was this,
Yeah, it
y'all?
was fun. Thank
It's
y'all.
awesome. Hope everybody out there, y'all got something out of this. Well, I actually know you will. It was good information from Keith and Brandon. Obviously, enjoyed being with you again, Sawyer.
Ditto.
Y'all check it out, share it, like it, do all those things, and we'll see y'all next time.
Love y'all.